Welcome to Not Guilty, Lawyers, Guns, and Money.
Hello and welcome to Not Guilty, Lawyers, Guns, and Money with Edward D. Johnson III, founding attorney at Edward Johnson Associates, PC. I am your host, Kevin Rosenquist, and today's episode is the Interrogation Playbook, Understanding Police Tactics and Your Rights. Edward, great to have you here.
Great to be here, Kevin. Thanks.
So, over the years, the course of your career, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about police procedures and their rights during an investigation?
Well, there's a bunch. The first one that comes to mind really has to do with just that the police can lie to you. You know, a lot of people think, oh, I have to go talk to the police, and they can tell you we have all these different things. You have to come in here, and really, they don't. They should come in with a lawyer, and that's the best advice I give everybody.
So that's the number one thing that people seem to get wrong about the procedure?
Yes, people lie to you. It's really, the police can lie. There's no reason that you should believe anything they're telling you. And if you do, you're going to find yourself in an interrogation room incriminating yourself, unfortunately.
What about during an investigation? Are there times when, you said that the police officers will lie to you or lie to people? Are there other things during the investigation that listeners might want to be aware of as far as their rights are concerned?
Yeah, there's a bunch. It's actually a pretty expansive list, but off the cuff, ultimately, really, is they'll tell you stuff like, "Oh, we have a video of you," or they'll go good cop, bad cop, or they'll tell you, "If you tell us, we won't prosecute you." They could say that too, or they'll say, "We'll give you a better sentence," or we work something out, this won't happen. And the reality of it is the police aren't really in charge of charging people as much as they are with, arresting people. It's kind of different. The state's attorney's office is in total control over any sort of charges that you would be facing, right? So if the police are going to make a deal, they're not actually in charge. They don't have discretion to charge people, but they do have relationships with state's attorneys. And it's a situation where it's better to have a lawyer up front to help navigate that. But the good cop, bad cop's kind of the traditional one. When you think about it, there's always like, we have a video of you doing it. That's what they tell people. And then they go, or they say, well, somebody else told us that this happened. And then you go, oh, they told me that? No, this is what really happened, right?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, wait a minute. Here we go. Yeah. Anything you see in Law and Order is like pretty over the top, but people get nervous. They go in there, and just talking at all is incriminating. Admitting who you are, what happens. I had a case just recently where they were looking for someone's son, and they had the parents come in to identify their son in a video, not realizing that the police had no idea who they were. They kind of had an idea, but then he gets charged, and the parents are witnesses now against him in the case.
Oh, wow. It was interesting listening to you hear that, or listening to you say all that, because the first thing that popped in my head was, that sounds very similar to movies and TV. Like the tactics and all that. Like you figure like, it's all like a bunch of BS, but that sounds very similar.
It is. And one of the things we do at the office is, if the police call you, we say, call us, even though you haven't been charged yet. We have like a small retainer you can put down. We'll reach out to the police and just be the intermediary. Like, we'll just be able to talk, and say, hey, what's going on? Right? Like, don't put yourself in any situation. Another one was, somebody said they had the police just want to talk to you about an incident that happened. Just come down here. And you could think it's one thing and it's something else that happened, and you won't leave. That's what happened to a recent client of mine. Is the Illinois State Police came in. They said, hey, they came to their house. We're like, we just want to ask you some questions. We'll give you a ride down here. And he's been in jail since. We're going to get him out, but you know how it works. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
From a legal perspective, like are there boundaries that govern police interactions with individuals? I mean, I'm surprised that they're allowed to lie. Right.
And that's the shocking part. The Supreme Court said it's okay. It's part of their process, and that was surprising. I think it goes towards just the Fourth Amendment being pretty much eroded away at this point, but the right to counsel and those other amendments help you. And they're saying that if you just did that, you don't have to listen to the police at all, and you shouldn't be able to be tricked. So that's kind of the court's ruling on those matters.
So I know you mentioned, it's always obviously helpful to have a lawyer present, but if someone does find themselves being questioned by the police or even maybe interrogated and there's no lawyer present, what kind of things can they do to protect themselves in those situations?
Well, the best thing to do, if you find yourself in this situation, is to ask for a lawyer. You have a right to an attorney to be there. Any questioning, if they say, hey, no, you don't need an attorney, then you definitely need an attorney. As much as
Yeah.
much as you think you don't, right?
Yeah.
That's the realization behind it. There's also situations where if you're below the age of 17, you need your parents there, and the parents should say, "Hey, we should go with a lawyer," and that's what you're allowed to do. But I hear people say, and you might think this, or anyone listening, well, why would I need a lawyer if I didn't do anything wrong?
Right.
Right? And that's where problems happen. You need a lawyer. There's nothing you can say that's going to help you to the police, and an attorney can do that for you, and they'll protect you. That's the important part.
Hmm. You mentioned a little earlier the pre-charge retainer in your practice. Can you kind of unpack that a little bit more and explain how that works?
So what we do is we'll get let's say the police come to your door and they want to talk to you. You don't answer, they leave a card, or they come to your office, or they call you and just leave a message. Get their contact information, send it to us. We reach out then. Then we also give you a letter of representation you can carry with you digitally or on paper. And we find that police department, we reach out to that officer, get in contact with them, and then see what's going on and get back to you so that we're communicating with you everything that's happening. You haven't been charged. If they are going to charge you, if they're not, I mean, what really happens a lot of times is nobody gets charged once you get a lawyer. It's kind of funny how that works out.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. But is it important to have the attorney there before the charges are filed? Does the timing matter on when you have the attorney, you know?
Yeah, it does. It becomes really one of those like cost benefit analysis things when you really look back at it. Because if it costs you a little money right now, it might save you a lot of money in attorney fees later. Really,
Mhm.
but we work on any point in the case. I thought it was important to start doing this because we were getting calls from people who said, "Oh, well, this other lawyer said just wait till I get charged." And I'm like, "No, you need a lawyer now. This is super important. This is even more important because you haven't been charged yet." And if you have some sort of information, or if there's other things that we can work out, we can contact the state's attorney's office and the police and try to work something out before any charges are filed against you. And that's the art of it.
Yeah, that seems important.
Yeah, imagine, being able to contact the state's attorney's office saying, "Will this happen? This, you don't know. Actually, that person, attacked them first. We have some video. We'll show you." And then instead, if you don't do anything, they're going to charge you. You're going to try to fight the case. It's going to be, months. You're going to get processed. There's going to be a lot of different situations where you might be held in jail, and it's going to be harder to defend yourself. So getting ahead of it is really the name of the game. It's probably a
Mhm.
bad business model for us, but I think it's important for the clients.
Yeah, that's cool that you offer that. It sounds unique.
And it is. Yeah, not a lot of lawyers are doing it. I think more recently, but I can't speak for the
Yeah.
other firms.
When police say they just want to talk, what should individuals keep in mind regarding rights and potential risks?
There's a couple. Know that you're entitled to a lawyer no matter what. Know that you don't have to talk to them at all. You can talk to a lawyer. They can talk to the police for you. And know that if you do go and talk with them, I know you asked that earlier, like what happens if you are in that situation? They're going to give you a piece of paper that has your Miranda rights on it, or they're going to read them to you. And what they want you to do is sign that. And what people don't understand is, like, after you sign it, you need to ask for a lawyer. You don't just say, "Hey, yeah, I understand what I signed." No, you have to say, "I understand those are my Miranda rights, and I want a lawyer before we do anything else."
Hmm.
Like, before we do anything, I'm going to need a lawyer. And then they say, "Oh, you need a lawyer. Why?" Before we do anything, going to need a lawyer. That's the way to do it.
Do people feel like that's like an admission of guilt almost? Is that why they're hesitant to do that?
Yeah, there's some sort of stigma to it. Like I said
Like, why
earlier,
would you need? Why would I need a lawyer if I didn't do anything wrong? Yeah.
right? And it's not that you might think you didn't do anything wrong, but the police think there's an issue that they need to call you directly and get you to come down there. You need a lawyer, and they can't even bring that up. So the fact that you talk to a lawyer or you call your lawyer, let's say something bad happens and you call a lawyer right away, that's not admissible. That's all confidential under the rules. So that's the only person you should call if there's ever a situation, because anyone else you call, they're going to find that discoverable in your phone records. They're going to use that against you, but not if there's a lawyer. And that's just a misconception. People think, "Oh, well, I don't need to call a lawyer. I didn't do anything wrong." Let the lawyer figure it out for you.
What other tactics will police officers use to try to confuse people to make it so that they maybe don't understand that they can call that lawyer?
Man, there's There's a lot of them. They'll tell you, that you're not doing anything wrong, that, they might just ignore you completely and keep asking you questions. Another ones are they'll put you somewhere and they'll let you make a phone call, but they'll record it. And when let's say people go to the hospital, you make a phone call out, or if you're in a holding cell and you call somebody not on your phone, that's being recorded. They're going to use that. Anything you say, it can and will be used against you, right? Like this is surprising to people. I'm like, anytime you're using the phone, if you're talking to them, consider yourself being recorded. You're being videotaped. They're going to use it. I had a case where somebody OD'd on drugs. They were in the hospital. They used this phone that they gave him, and everything he said was in all discoverable materials later. And they were not. It was not good what he was saying on the phone. So they're going to use it, and we're trying to get it. The reason I'm doing this podcast is just so people can know that how important it is and what those tricks are. And they're subtle, but people get tricked all the time.
I've not been arrested, so but I wouldn't have known that, or I wouldn't have known that was how it worked until you mentioned that. So that's interesting to me.
Have you ever heard like people say, "Oh, you talk your way out of a ticket"? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Like, he's a good talker. He'll talk his way out. That's pretty much a trick right there. Like talking your way out of a ticket. The way to talk your way out of something is not to talk when it's involved with the police. When you really think about it, if you get pulled over, have you been at least pulled over? I know you haven't been arrested.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right. People just start talking.
Yeah.
Like, blah, blah, blah. And you don't realize that actually upsets the police. You should just stay there, be quiet. Just, oh, here's my ticket, no admissions, and let the officer do their thing. But if you start saying things or making excuses up, they're just going to use it against you. And if you say something wild that gets them mad, or you don't have your insurance or your driver's license ready for them, they'll get aggravated, and that's not going to help you.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an example you can share of a where having pre-charge legal representation significantly impacted a case?
I have a few, but there's so many clients that we have. We just kind of went through this quarter. What we did, we had 20 new ones this quarter. Only 3 of them were charged. All the other cases went away, which is shocking. There's a lot of, we're right here by the college campus. There's certain issues where people might hook up and then they find somebody else hooks up with somebody else, and then they get mad and say certain things. There's a lot of different, domestic issues that tend to go away without proof. But those cases, they called us right away, and we were able to talk to the police, and it really helped them out. There's been other ones where we've worked out like arrangements where it was a situation where they worked for their employer, some money was transferred incorrectly, and they wanted the money back, and the person had it, but something with the banks and different sort of fraud alerts locked the money in an account. So we just got the money back. The case went away. It was just a misunderstanding, like a wrong transfer. And that really saved the person a ton of trouble.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have known how to handle that on their own, and without legal representation, they probably get pushed around by the police, right?
Yeah, they take advantage of you, and you go down there, you say, this is what happened, and then you're stuck to that story too, even if that's not what happened. Mm-hmm. That's what people forget too. In Illinois, it's not admissible. So even anything you say, like I didn't do it, those types of things, you'll have to testify for those that come in, because there's certain laws that they don't even allow you to use what you tell the police. So why would you go talk to them at all if it's not even admissible? Only it's admissible if it incriminates you.
Right.
But anything else you say, no, you would have to go as a witness at trial. You have to call those witnesses, any exhibits, any of those things. You can't even use them. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't make sense, right? Logically,
No.
Like, why would you go talk to them then?
Yeah. No, it definitely it does make sense that there is no reason. So basically what people should do, people who are listening, if they get a call, if the police want to talk to them, reach out to you first. Don't say anything to them until they reach out to you.
Yeah. Give us a call. We're here. I got a call center too. If it's after hours, they'll get a hold of me that something's going on. If you need just a lawyer at the police station, we can be there. If they already are holding you for an investigation and they're waiting for the detectives to come, we should be your first call. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, interesting stuff for sure. And thanks for tuning in to Not Guilty, Lawyers, Guns, and Money with Edward D. Johnson III. To connect with Edward and the team, head to edwardjohnsonlaw.com. And please like the video and subscribe to our channel. We got lots of great information ready to come your way. Edward, really great chatting with you. I really appreciate the time. Looking forward to doing this again.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.